Tonight, a fragile peace is settling over Superior National Forest as the immediate threat from weeks of devastating fires begins to ease.
For the very first time, emergency crews are shifting their focus from constant active defense to now include some recovery. And joining us live in studio tonight is Northern News Now's Kyrie Johnson with those details. Kyrie.
Laura and Dan, the frantic firefight across northeastern Minnesota is shifting to a slow burn containment effort, but state crews were quick to warn that a fragile calm does not mean the danger has passed.
Looking back a month ago, it's hard to believe 1,000 lightning strikes would have brought us where we are, fighting fires across Cook, Lake, northern St. Louis counties.
About 65,000 acres have now burned across northern Minnesota, and what started as 20 active fires in the Boundary Waters is now down to 6. In St. Paul Wednesday, Governor Tim Walz announced a major turning point in the response.
And where we're at on this, the wind down of the peacetime emergency will happen. It will expire on next Tuesday.
Officials say that's only possible because of the work on the ground.
There has been no loss of life and limited damage to major structures. That is an extraordinary accomplishment.
A key part of that response came from the Minnesota National Guard. More than 110 soldiers and airmen deployed to the Boundary Waters, flying more than 62 hours to drop 170,000 gallons of water on inaccessible fire lines.
At the peak of this mission, there was over 29 aircraft, 2,400 personnel working to get a handle on these in very remote, dry, unprecedented, challenging conditions with what seemed to be never-ending wind.
Though the emergency order is expiring, hundreds of smoldering underground hotspots and a fairly dry 7-day forecast mean the threat is far from over.
Folks will still need to pay attention to the local warnings and pay attention to the weather because conditions can and do change quickly.
While the response enters a calmer phase, state leaders promise they'll remain on the ground to support northern Minnesota.
We will continue to stand alongside our local partners for as long as it takes to see the fires extinguished and the communities recovered.
While the expiring emergency order means the National Guard is winding down, officials say they can return within 48 hours if conditions worsen. However, Governor Walz notes any further wildfire relief funding will likely have to wait until the regular legislative session in January. Live in studio, Kyrie Johnson, Northern News Now.
Thanks, Kyrie. There's only one go evacuation order still in place for the wildfires other than the BWCA itself. That's the North Fall Lake area in Lake County, not too far from Ely. Meanwhile, more entry points to the BWCA reopened today. Western areas of the BWCA remain closed with no reopening date set. As for drive-in forest campgrounds, the Fall Lake and Fensky Lake campgrounds will reopen on Friday, but the Lake Jeanette campground remains closed. You can find more specifics and maps showing the staged reopening of the Boundary Waters using our Northern News Now app.